Imagine this. You're walking through a routine archaeological excavation when suddenly you encounter something that challenges everything we know about human history. An object so strange, so impossible to explain that even the most renowned scientists in the world fall into complete silence. This has happened not just once, but hundreds of times throughout the centuries, and today you're going to discover the 10 most bizarre archaeological discoveries that nobody can explain to this day. Some of these discoveries are so disturbing that governments have tried to hide them from the public. Others are so technologically advanced that they seem to have come from another era, or perhaps even from another world. So prepare yourself, because in the next few minutes you're going to question everything you thought you knew about our past. But before we begin this journey into the unknown, leave your like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because content like this could disappear from digital platforms at any moment. Let's start with discovery number 10, which was found literally by accident. Images of the mechanism. In 1901, Greek sponge divers made a discovery that would forever shake our understanding of ancient technology. In the crystal-clear waters near the island of Antikythera, they found the wreckage of a 2,000-year-old Roman ship. But it wasn't the typical treasures that caught the archaeologists' attention. It was a small, corroded bronze box, full of complex gears that looked like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. When scientists finally managed to fully analyze this device using computed tomography in 2005, they discovered something absolutely impossible. It was an analog computer. More specifically, a sophisticated astronomical calculator capable of predicting eclipses, planetary positions, and even the cycles of the Olympic Games. Dr. Tony Freeth from University College London, who led the most recent research on the mechanism, declared in 2021, "This device is more complex than anything we know from antiquity. It's literally revolutionary." Here's the real mystery. The technology needed to create such a device shouldn't have existed until at least 1,000 years later. The gears are so precise and complex that they rival Swiss watches from the 18th century. So how did the ancient Greeks manage to create something so advanced? Some scientists suggest lost knowledge. Others question whether we really understand our own past. But there's a third possibility that few dare mention publicly. But the Antikythera mechanism is just the beginning. Our next discovery will make you question whether the ancients really built their monuments with primitive tools. 9. The stone spheres of Costa Rica. In the late 1930s, United Fruit Company workers were clearing the dense Costa Rican jungle to create banana plantations when they encountered something that shouldn't exist. Hundreds of perfectly round stone spheres, some the size of tennis balls, others as large as cars. The largest of these spheres weighs an impressive 15 tons and is over 2 meters in diameter. And here's what makes this truly impossible. They are perfectly spherical, with precision that defies any known technology of the time. In 2014, UNESCO declared the spheres a World Heritage Site, officially recognizing them as a unique testimony to the artistic and technical knowledge of pre-Columbian societies. Impossible technical problem. But here's where things get really strange. To create a perfect 15-ton sphere using only stone tools, you would need advanced knowledge of geometry, engineering, and metallurgy. The indigenous peoples of Costa Rica didn't even possess the wheel. Some of the spheres were found in precise geometric formations, straight lines, perfect triangles, and even patterns pointing to specific astronomical points. Coincidence, or evidence of much more advanced knowledge than we imagined? The most frustrating part is that many of these spheres were removed from their original positions before archaeologists could study them properly. Some were used as decoration in wealthy people's gardens, forever destroying crucial clues about their true purpose. And there's something even more disturbing. Similar spheres have been found in Bosnia, Mexico, and even Scotland. How did peoples who never communicated create identical artifacts? But if you think mysterious spheres are strange, wait until you learn about our next discovery, one that could completely rewrite our understanding of communication in the ancient world. 8. The Baghdad Battery. In 1938, German archaeologist Wilhelm König was cataloguing artifacts at the National Museum of Iraq when he found something that made him question everything he knew about ancient technology. König immediately recognized what he was seeing. It was a galvanic cell, or in other words, a functional electric battery created 1,800 years before Alessandro Volta invented the first battery. In 1978, engineer Arne Egebrecht from the Roma Pelizius Museum in Germany decided to test the theory. He created an exact replica of the Baghdad battery and filled it with citric acid. The result? The battery produced 0.5 volts of electricity, enough energy for electroplating. This means that the ancient Persians not only knew about electricity, but used it to plate objects with gold and silver, techniques we only rediscovered in the 19th century. But here's where the story gets sinister. During the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the National Museum was looted and many Baghdad batteries simply disappeared. Coincidence? Or did someone not want us to study these artifacts more deeply? Dr. Paul Craddock from the British Museum admitted in 2005, if these objects really functioned as batteries, it would fundamentally change our understanding of the technical knowledge of ancient civilizations. And there's more. Similar objects have been found in Egypt, Syria, and even Germany. This suggests a commercial network of electrical knowledge that extended throughout the ancient world. If the ancients mastered electricity, what other modern technologies might they have known? And why was this knowledge completely lost? But if a 2,000-year-old battery is already disturbing, our next discovery will make you question the very nature of reality. 7. The ICA stones. In 1961, Peruvian Dr. Javier Cabrera received a strange stone with intricate engravings as a gift. What he saw on that stone would change his life forever. Detailed drawings of dinosaurs coexisting with human beings. Intrigued, Dr. Cabrera began searching for more of these stones and discovered something impressive. A collection of more than 15,000 engraved stones, all showing impossible scenes from antiquity. The engravings showed not only dinosaurs, but complex surgeries, organ transplants, cesarean sections, blood transfusions, and even maps of lost continents. Knowledge that officially we've only acquired in recent centuries. Geological analyses confirmed that the stones are genuinely ancient, some millions of years old. The engravings were made with tools that left natural oxidation impossible to fake with modern technology. But here's where the story becomes dark. When Dr. Cabrera tried to publish his discoveries in scientific journals, he was ridiculed and ostracized by the academic community. His theories were too impossible to be considered. In 1968, archaeologist Santiago Agurto Calvo found similar stones in official excavations in Ica, confirming they weren't modern forgeries. But even so, the scientific establishment refused to investigate seriously. Materials analysis engineer José Benítez Montero declared in 1998, "The technical evidence is unequivocal. These stones contain knowledge that shouldn't have existed thousands of years ago." Some of the stones show detailed maps of continents in positions we only knew through space satellites. How could an ancient civilization have access to this aerial perspective? If these stones are authentic and evidence suggests they are, then everything we think we know about the evolution of human knowledge is completely wrong. But the Ica stones are just the tip of the iceberg. Our next discovery will show that perhaps we weren't the first advanced civilization on Earth. 6. The Nazca Lines. Imagine flying over the Peruvian desert in 1927 and suddenly spotting gigantic geometric figures drawn on the ground, some the size of football stadiums. That's exactly what happened to archaeologist Toribio Mejia Zespe, discoverer of the famous Nazca Lines. These aren't simply drawings on the ground. We're talking about more than 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and 70 drawings of animals and plants that extend over 450 square kilometers. The longest straight line is an incredible 15 kilometers long. Here's the first mystery. Since their rediscovery in 1927, scientists, archaeologists, and anthropologists have debated why the Nazca Lines were created. To create such precise and proportional drawings on a gigantic scale, you would need an aerial perspective. But officially, humans only began flying in 1903. The lines are so perfectly straight that they deviate only 9 meters over kilometers. This precision rivals modern GPS equipment. How did a civilization without advanced technology achieve such an engineering feat? Archaeologist Maria Reiche spent 50 years studying the lines and discovered that many point to specific positions of stars and constellations. She declared, "The Nazca Lines are the world's largest astronomy book." In 2019, archaeologists discovered more than 140 new lines using AI technology. But the most disturbing thing is that some of these new discoveries show humanoid figures with non-human characteristics. Researcher Erich von Däniken suggested in 1968 that the lines were landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors. Although controversial, no conventional explanation has adequately answered the how and why of their creation. Similar discoveries have been found in Chile, Bolivia, and even Jordan. This suggests a global phenomenon, not just local. After almost 100 years of intensive study, the Nazca Lines remain one of humanity's greatest archaeological enigmas. And perhaps that's intentional. But if giant drawings in the desert are already confusing, our next discovery will show that the ancients may have had access to knowledge we consider exclusive to the 21st century. 5. The Piri Reis Mapi. In 1929, during the renovation of Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, workers discovered a map that would make admirals worldwide lose sleep. Created in 1513 by Ottoman cartographer Piri Reis, this map showed something absolutely impossible, the continent of Antarctica with surprising accuracy. Here's the problem. Antarctica was only officially discovered in 1820, more than 300 years after the map was created. And even more impressive, the map shows the Antarctic coast without ice, with rivers and mountains that were only confirmed by subglacial radar in 1958. In 1960, Captain Arlington H. Mallory of the United States Navy studied the map and officially declared, "The geographical accuracy is so extraordinary that it could only have been created with aerial knowledge or technology superior to our era." The most disturbing part, geological studies confirmed that Antarctica was last ice-free approximately 6,000 years ago. This means someone mapped the continent before even the pyramids were built. Piri Reis left notes explaining that he based his map on more than 20 ancient maps, some dating from the time of Alexander the Great. This suggests a lost cartographic tradition of advanced geographical knowledge. The map uses an azimuthal equidistant projection centered on Cairo, a complex mathematical technique that allows representing the spherical Earth on a flat surface with minimal distortion. This knowledge was only rediscovered in the 20th century. During the Cold War, copies of the Piri Reis map were classified by the American Navy as sensitive information. Why would a 500-year-old map represent a national security risk? Similar maps have been found in the Vatican Library and Chinese archives, all showing impossible geographical knowledge for their times. If ancient civilizations possessed accurate maps of the entire globe, including undiscovered continents, what other technologies did they master? But impossible geographical knowledge is just the beginning. Our next discovery shows evidence of technology that may have literally come from another world. 4. The elongated skulls of Paracas. In 1928, Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello discovered a cemetery in the Paracas Desert containing more than 300 human skulls with an absolutely impossible characteristic. They were 25% larger than normal human skulls and had an elongated shape that defies any conventional explanation. These are not cases of artificial cranial deformation, a practice common in some ancient cultures. The Paracas skulls possess fundamentally different anatomical characteristics. Only one parietal plate instead of two, foramina, openings in locations not found in normal humans, and cranial volume up to 60% larger. In 2014, geneticist Brian Forster managed to extract DNA from some skulls, and the results were disturbing. The mitochondrial DNA showed unknown mutations in science, incompatible with any known species on Earth. When Forster tried to publish the results in scientific journals, he was systematically rejected. Laboratories refused to continue the analyses, claiming the results were too problematic for the scientific community. The skulls possess a weight 25% greater than normal human skulls. Due to exceptional bone density, the eye sockets are significantly larger, and the nasal structure is different from any known human ethnicity. Carbon-14 analyses date the skulls between 3,000 and 800 years ago, a period when we know of no technology that could create such genetic modifications. Similar skulls have been found in Egypt, Russia, France, and even Australia. This suggests a global phenomenon, not localized. Some researchers suggest the skulls represent an unknown human species or even evidence of hybridization with something non-human, a possibility that mainstream science refuses to consider. Ancient art from Peru shows beings with elongated heads being venerated as gods or rulers, suggesting these individuals had special status in society. If these skulls represent a different species, does this mean we weren't alone on Earth? And if they weren't, where are they now? But impossible biological evidence is just one piece of the puzzle. Our next discovery shows that perhaps we were never alone in the universe. 3. The dropper discs. In 1938, an archaeological expedition led by Professor Chi Pu-Te from Beijing University made a discovery in the Bayan Har Mountains that would forever change our understanding of ancient extraterrestrial visitation to Earth. In an isolated cave at 3,700 meters altitude, the team found 716 stone discs, each 23 centimeters in diameter and containing spirals of microscopic hieroglyphs extending from center to edge, exactly like a giant vinyl record. In 1962, Professor Zumum Nui from the Beijing Academy of Sciences managed to partially decipher the hieroglyphs. What he translated was so shocking that the Chinese government banned publication for years. The discs told the story of a spacecraft that made an emergency landing on Earth 12,000 years ago. According to the translations, the discs narrate how the dropper beings from space were forced to land on Earth after their ship was damaged. Unable to repair it, they settled in the region and tried to make contact with local humans. Scientific analyses revealed that the discs contain anomalous levels of cobalt and other rare metals. When subjected to oscilloscopes, the discs produce rhythmic vibrations as if they still contained some type of energy. Publication of Professor Zumum Nui's studies was quickly censored by the Chinese government. He was forced to exile to Japan, where he died mysteriously in 1965. Many of the original discs simply disappeared from Chinese museums. In the same region where the discs were found, archaeologists discovered 12,000-year-old cave paintings showing beings with helmets and clothing that look like spacesuits, plus circular objects in the sky. Still today, two isolated tribes live in the region, the Ham and the Dropa. They are physically distinct from the Chinese, shorter, with unique facial characteristics and oral traditions that speak of ancestors who came from the stars. Unauthorized genetic studies of these tribes showed unique genetic markers not found in other Asian populations, suggesting a different origin. When Western researchers tried to obtain access to the discs for independent studies, they were systematically denied by the Chinese government. Why so much secrecy around simple stone discs? If the Dropa discs are authentic, and evidence suggests they are, then we have physical proof of extraterrestrial visitation 12,000 years ago, documented by the visitors themselves. But evidence of ancient extraterrestrial visitation is just the beginning. Our next discovery shows technology so advanced it may have been created by a lost civilization, or something even more extraordinary. 2. The Klerksdorp metallic spheres. Imagine miners working in the depths of the earth in South Africa when suddenly they discover objects that shouldn't exist 2.8 billion years ago. Objects that appear to have been manufactured by an advanced industrial civilization. Since the 1980s, more than 200 metallic spheres have been discovered in Precambrian rock layers in the Klerksdorp region. These spheres are perfectly spherical or oval, some with extremely precise parallel grooves around their circumference. Here's the problem that keeps geologists awake at night. These spheres were found in pyrophyllite rock layers, dated at 2.8 billion years. At this time, Earth barely had a breathable atmosphere, and multicellular life didn't exist. The spheres are composed of pyrophyllite and hematite, materials that don't naturally form in such perfectly geometric shapes. Some possess 3 parallel grooves that run around the entire circumference with micrometric precision. On the Mohs hardness scale, these spheres register 5, making them incredibly resistant. They've been subjected to all types of pressure and temperature tests and remain unchanged. Dr. Johann Heine, curator of the Klerksdorp Museum, studied these spheres for decades. He declared, "The geometric perfection of these spheres defies any known natural process. They appear to have been manufactured." One of the spheres, kept in the museum, slowly rotates on its own axis inside a sealed display case, completing one rotation every 128 days. There's no explanation for this continuous movement. When researchers tried to publish studies about these spheres in mainstream geological journals, they were systematically rejected. The spheres are considered embarrassing anomalies that don't fit the current scientific paradigm. If these spheres are really manufactured artifacts from 2.8 billion years ago, this means one of two impossible things. Either our understanding about Earth's age is completely wrong, or an advanced civilization existed billions of years before the first humans. Some geologists suggest the spheres may be evidence of a pre-human civilization that existed on Earth much earlier than we imagine. A vast Earth, completely different from the one we know today. Similar objects have been reported in mines in Ukraine and Costa Rica, always in extremely ancient rock layers, suggesting a global phenomenon. If advanced civilizations existed billions of years ago, what happened to them? And did they leave other clues we haven't found yet, or that are being deliberately hidden? But ancient civilizations and impossible artifacts pale in comparison to our #1 discovery. Something so extraordinary that it challenges everything we believe about reality itself. 1. The Longyu Caves. In 1992, a local villager in Longyu, China, decided to pump water from what he thought was a natural pond. What he discovered beneath the surface would become the greatest archaeological mystery of modern times, a massive underground complex that shouldn't exist. The Longyu Caves aren't caves at all. They're artificially carved underground chambers of mind-boggling proportions. We're talking about 24 enormous rooms carved from solid rock, some reaching heights of 30 meters with areas larger than football stadiums. Here's what makes this discovery absolutely impossible. The entire complex was carved from solid siltstone with precision that rivals modern machinery. The walls are perfectly smooth, the angles are mathematically precise, and the structural engineering prevents any collapse despite the massive scale. The most perplexing aspect is what isn't there. Despite removing an estimated 1 million cubic meters of rock, archaeologists have found virtually no evidence of the excavated material. Where did all that stone go? Analysis of the carved surfaces shows consistent tool marks throughout the complex, but no tools capable of such precision have been found. The marks suggest cutting technology more advanced than anything available in ancient China. Carbon dating and stylistic analysis suggest the caves were created over 2,000 years ago, yet the engineering knowledge required wouldn't be available for another millennium. The precision rivals modern diamond-cutting technology. Sound engineers discovered that the caves possess extraordinary acoustic properties. Whispers in one room can be heard clearly in chambers hundreds of meters away, suggesting advanced understanding of sound engineering. The few symbols found in the caves don't match any known Chinese writing system. They appear to be a completely unknown form of communication, adding another layer to the mystery. Chinese authorities have severely limited access to the caves. International archaeological teams have been denied permission to conduct comprehensive studies, raising questions about what else might be hidden. Ground-penetrating radar suggests the Longyu Caves may be just a small part of a vast underground network extending for hundreds of kilometers beneath eastern China. Most of this network remains unexplored. The caves maintain perfect air circulation despite being sealed for centuries. The ventilation system is so advanced that the air quality inside is better than outside, suggesting sophisticated environmental engineering. Despite being below the water table, the caves remain perfectly dry due to an ingenious drainage system that still functions after 2,000 years. This level of hydraulic engineering wasn't officially mastered until the modern era. Electronic equipment frequently malfunctions inside the caves. Compasses spin wildly, and some visitors report strange electromagnetic effects that scientists cannot explain. Engineers calculate that even with modern machinery, creating the Longyu Caves would require decades of continuous work by hundreds of people. Yet there's no historical record of such a massive undertaking. Underground complexes with similar characteristics have been found in Turkey, Derinkuyu, Egypt, Serapeum, and Peru, Cusco, suggesting a global phenomenon of ancient advanced engineering. The Longyu Caves represent technology so advanced that it challenges our entire understanding of ancient capabilities. They suggest a level of engineering knowledge that we've only achieved in recent decades, yet they're thousands of years old. So there you have it, 10 archaeological discoveries that completely shatter our understanding of human history, from impossible ancient computers to evidence of extraterrestrial contact, from underground complexes that rival modern engineering to skulls that suggest we weren't alone on Earth. Notice the pattern? Each of these discoveries has been systematically suppressed, ridiculed, or ignored by mainstream academia. Why? Because they don't fit the comfortable narrative we've been taught about our past. What if everything we think we know about human civilization is wrong? What if we're not the first advanced society to inhabit this planet? What if our ancestors had help from somewhere else? The evidence is overwhelming, yet the scientific establishment continues to ignore these discoveries. They'd rather maintain their comfortable theories than face the possibility that history needs to be completely rewritten. But the truth can't be suppressed forever. Each new discovery, each leaked document, each brave researcher who speaks out brings us closer to understanding our real past. And that understanding could change everything about our future. The question is, are you ready to accept that reality might be far stranger and more wonderful than you ever imagined? Are you ready to question everything you've been taught? If you want to stay informed about discoveries like these, the ones they don't want you to know about, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Because in a world where truth is often stranger than fiction, staying informed isn't just important, it's essential. Remember, every great discovery in human history was once considered impossible by the experts of its time. Today's impossibilities are tomorrow's breakthroughs. The question is, will you be ready when the truth finally comes to light? What other secrets do you think are hidden in our past? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, the truth is out there, waiting to be discovered.